Okay, welcome to this deep dive. We're looking at some source materials today about a really disturbing case from late 80s Japan. It's Tsutomu Miyazaki, the man the media called the Otaku Killer.
That's right. And these sources, they really chronicle not just the crimes, but the kind of questions that came up afterwards.
Yeah, our goal here is basically to pull out the key facts and, the insights from these sources about him, what he did, and maybe what it tells us.
It's unsettling stuff. The sources really emphasize how this darkness was hidden beneath a seemingly normal surface.
Right. It all starts, according to the materials, in a pretty quiet suburb near Tokyo, late 1980s.
The place you wouldn't expect this kind of thing.
Exactly. And then the terror begins. 4 little girls disappear. Vanished.
And it wasn't just that they vanished, communication afterwards. That's what the sources highlight as truly chilling.
Yeah, families getting these awful packages. We're talking ashes, teeth, things like that. And letters describing the murders, but in this strangely calm, almost detached way.
And the person behind it all, Tsutomu Miyazaki. The sources describe him as, well, a bit of a loner.
Lived with his parents, right?
Yeah.
Part-time job.
Yeah, and the sources really focus on his background. He had deformed hands, apparently got bullied a lot, very withdrawn.
Sort of neglected, too, it sounds like from the descriptions.
Definitely. And he escaped into this world of horror films and pretty extreme pornography. His room was just packed.
Packed how?
Thousands of videotapes, comic books, manga, and the sources even mention photos of, like, dismembered bodies. It's quite a picture.
Wow. Okay, so that escape, that fantasy world, it seems key when you look at the first crime described. Mari Kono, 4 years old.
He lured her away, strangled her.
Yeah.
And then the sources detail this gruesome part about him drinking her blood.
And he took photos.
Took photos of the body, yes.
Yeah.
And then sent that calm letter to the family, detailing it.
Just unbelievable. And that became the pattern.
Sadly, yes. 3 more girls, ages 4 to 7 over the next year or so. Same awful routine. Abduction, murder, photos.
And the communication. Sending cremated remains, right?
Yes. And this detail from the sources is really bizarre. He apparently recorded TV news reports about his own crimes.
Like he was archiving the whole thing.
Yeah.
The public reaction, too.
Sort of documenting his impact, maybe. It's hard to say. But the nation was terrified. Police totally stumped. No clear motive, no leads.
Until his capture, which the sources say was almost random. Compared to the crimes, anyway.
Yeah, he was trying to take indecent photos in a park. A father confronted him. Neighbors helped detain him. They had no idea who they'd caught.
And then the search of his home. That must have been when the full scale became clear.
Oh, absolutely. The sources list over 5,000 tapes. Not just the news clips or his victim photos, but apparently self-shot, deeply disturbing stuff, too.
And journals.
Journals showing this intense obsession with death, mutilation, control. And he started talking about this alternate personality.
The Rat Man, claiming this other entity did the killing.
Exactly, which
Yep.
played right into the media frenzy.
Ugh, the Otaku Killer label. The sources talk about how that label, tying him to anime and manga culture, really took off and sparked a whole debate in Japan.
It did. And the trial was a spectacle. Sources describe him acting, strangely, mumbling, laughing at weird times, using different voices like that Rat Man persona.
So the big question became insane or just manipulating everyone.
Right. There was a huge debate reflected in the sources about his mental state, but the court, after evaluations, found him fit to stand trial.
And the sense?
Death. Handed down in 1997, almost 10 years after the first crimes.
But it took a while longer.
Appeals delayed it. He was finally executed by hanging in 2008.
So looking back at all this through the lens of these sources, it's more than just the gruesome facts, isn't it?
Definitely. It forces you to confront some uncomfortable things. The sources suggest this case really exposed how extreme isolation and maybe untreated mental health issues.
Combined with certain obsessions.
Right, how that can spiral into something truly horrific. It showed how much darkness can be hidden, behind ordinary doors, challenge everyone's sense of safety.
So for you listening, the takeaway from these sources seems to be about looking closer, maybe. Understanding the potential fallout from isolation or untreated problems.
Yeah, recognizing that these kinds of extreme acts often have complex roots, it's rarely simple.
Which leaves you with that really difficult question, doesn't it? How do we even begin to judge actions like these based on what we see? Where's the line between, say, profound mental disturbance and calculated evil, especially when looking at it from the outside, based on the kind of details these sources provide?
It's a question the sources raise but don't necessarily answer easily. Something to think about.